attempt to violate such rights whenever the need arises. Over the past 18 years, my government has been consistent in ensuring that the Gambian nation enjoys a respectable and dignified status within the global community. In view of the radical development initiatives implemented, we can now boast of ultra-modern and appropriate infrastructure, more relevant and stronger institutions, better distilled and robust policies and programs, as well as more functional and productive socioeconomic structures. The result of all this is that the quality of life in the country is better, and there are greater opportunities and prospects for all Gambians. Nationally, we are better organized and united. Internationally, the image and status of the Gambia has changed as we are more active on the world stage than ever before. Such successes have not gone unnoticed outside the shores of this land. Thus, there will be a continual attempt to disrupt these positive trends and undermine the fabric of our social life. Fellow Gambians, friends of the Gambia, distinguished ladies and gentlemen and viewers. The history of this world is blighted by incessant acts of exploitation, domination, suppression, discrimination, and of late, conditions tied to hidden agendas. Hence, the emergence of structural resistance and revolutions that are guided by emancipatory ideologies and radical socio-political projects. The lesson is that all peoples must take into their hands the protection and furtherance of their interests, resources, lives, and sovereignty as they consider it fit. This also goes for Gambians. No one else can determine our destiny for us, and no one will come to build the Gambian nation for us without any hidden motive. In opting for responses to external forces, we must distinguish between the honest and genuine friends of the Gambia and those who seek to embark on expansionist caprices. Therefore, we are thankful to the true friends and allies of the Gambia and wish to reassure them of our support and cooperation at all times. One wonders sometimes how certain myopic nations and regional bodies think and behave. The world must know that Gambians are not politically blind, nor gullible and naive enough to swallow whatever the West metes out to us. Let me repeat. The world must know that Gambians are not politically blind, nor gullible and naive enough to swallow whatever the West metes out to us. We will not be dictated to, and we call on all progressive and patriotic Africans to defy all forms of foreign domination and devote their souls and energies to the Almighty Allah and nation building. We must not be told what laws to enact or abrogate, as we experienced lately. In the Gambia, there is equality in all aspects, equality before the law and in relation to opportunities. This did not exist during the colonial rule. As a matter of common sense, the descendants of former colonial masters, slave traders and armed robbers that pillaged Africa and other continents yesterday cannot give lessons on governance to any African country today. Certainly, not the Gambia, and Gambian people would not accept such insolence. We subscribe to mutual respect among nations for peaceful coexistence and preservation of the national sovereignty of each nation. For us, our national sovereignty is exclusively about our rights to exercise political freedom, and control over our priorities, policies, and programs. As a government, we endorse the principle that the people's sovereignty collectively takes precedence over any individual's sovereignty. In defense of the nation, we are conscious also of the fact that interference or violations of our sovereignty can emerge from both within the nation and without. Therefore, as patriots living in a global community and belonging to the human race, we extend the hand of friendship and brotherhood to all other well-meaning and progressive nations and international bodies, regardless of any form of distinction. But we fervently oppose at all times all external interference in our rights and privileges as a sovereign state, and we demand that all external, regional, and sub-regional organizations focus on genuine socioeconomic agendas and refrain from being prescriptive over and dictate to nations that do not fall within their spheres of hegemony. This is particularly so where such interference seeks to condone crime and protect criminals, encourage immoral and ungodly attitudes or behaviors like homosexuality. Fellow Gambians, distinguished friends and partners of the Gambia, just as the African continent's progress is linked to the freedom and unity of all African countries, so is the salvation of each nation linked to the emancipation of their entire citizenry. As patriots, we must undertake to reverse and dislodge what has been described as the infamous colonial legacy of inequitable and inappropriate development structures and plans that continue to undermine economic, political, and social development in Africa. Some of these structures have been so deeply entrenched in African society that they tend to support neo-imperialist strategies that surface in different forms and in deceitful ways from time to time. Fellow Gambians, distinguished viewers, friends of the Gambia, it is fascinating that the West has preferred to be blind to the legislative reform initiatives undertaken in the Gambia in recent years. The domestication of international conventions and instruments, the harmonious integration of the common law and Islamic law, Sharia, the establishment of an alternative dispute resolution tribunal, and the production of a new set of the revised laws of the Gambia are among genuine endeavors to institute a just and effective judicial or legal system, which the Gambian people have endorsed, noting that the process followed to bring about these reforms was participatory and all-inclusive. We know that laws, like the factors that inform them, are socially located and distinctively contextual. Therefore, our laws are depictive of our values, religions, traditions, customs, and generally our culture. Our institutions seek to speak to and preserve those elements that instill and sustain social cohesion, stability, and economic development. In the quest for self-determination as a sovereign nation, we are guided by these precepts. Our religion defines our cultural values as a people, and these religious values would be defended at all times and at any cost, without compromise. In redefining our independence and our roles and responsibilities individually and collectively, let us submit to the collective or national will. We, the Gambians, are peace-loving, tolerant, and hospitable people, and we should exhibit these values towards one another and towards other peoples. And this is a clear demonstration of true Islam and Islamic values. Peace and love and hospitality towards each other and others as well is one